Let us discuss the oral comprehension check. You have to write the answers in your notebook. What do the military generals do? How has their attitude changed and why? Attitude, they used to hate the white, the black and white used to create the differences, discriminate, but the attitude changed. When Nelson Mandela was elected the president of South Africa, attitude changed because the policy of apartheid was abolished at that time. Why were two national anthems sung? Because one was sung by the blacks and one was sung by the whites. They don't know each other's the lyrics, but still, because it was a single moment and both the national anthems were sung at that time. How does Mandela describe the system of government in his country in the first decade and then the final decade of the 20th century? First decade was a different one when Nelson Mandela was not even born. There was discrimination, but in the last final decade of 20th century, the policy was abolished, and the black was first time elected as the president of South Africa as a republic. What does he think is natural, to love or to hate? To love is, I think, more natural than to hate anybody, because to hate someone you need some reason, but to love someone you don't need any reason. So let us move to the next paragraph. In life, every man has twin obligations, double duties. We are having obligation to the family and to the parents, to his wife and children, and has an obligation to his people. That means as a president you have one obligation towards your family and one obligation towards the people of the country, his community, his country, and a civil and humane in a civil and humane society. Each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclination, according to his own tendencies. One performs both the duties and abilities, but in the country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color, black he was, to fulfill both of these obligations. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. Because I was black, so it was the tendency to isolate those people. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people, towards his country, was inevitably, without avoiding anything, ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live in life apart, being sent to the prison, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, because my family was my priority. So in the beginning I didn't choose the people, but in attempting to serve my people, but when I was trying to help my country, to do my duties toward my country, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligation as a son, a brother, and father, and a husband. That when I started doing my obligation, my duties towards my country, my people, then I felt I was avoiding my family, my parents, my wife. I was not born with a hunger to be free. Why? I was born free. Free in every way that I could know, free to run in the fields near my mother's heart. When I was born as a human being, I was totally free to move wherever I like, free to swim in the clear stream that run through my village, free to roast miles. That means to roast on fire, to cook on fire the corns, the miles under the stars, and ride the board back to slow moving bulls. All the things being done in the village in that type of life he used to enjoy. As long as I obeyed my father and abide my the custom of my tribe, I obeyed the custom of my tribe. I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. I was just doing my duties. But it was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. It's just a false idea. Whatever I am enjoying, it's just for sake of illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, because I have been discriminated. I am not free. I am to do under somebody to some work, and I began to hunger for it. And then I wanted my freedom, my actual freedom. It was as a child I was enjoying my freedom. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. The transitory, the temporary freedom of being able to stay out at night, because we as a parent, maybe the parents don't allow the child to stay outside the home in the night or late night, read whatever I please and go wherever I choose. But later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yawned, I desired for the basic and honorable freedom of achieving my potential, whatever was the capacity in me of earning my keep. I want to be the honor of my own will, of marrying and having a family, the freedom not to be obstructed, not to be restricted in a lawful life. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but in that way I thought only I'll be free. But my brothers and sisters, the people of the country were not free. So I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, that was limited, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. I did means when I was looking as a black. That is when I joined African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom began. The great hunger for the freedom of my people. It was their desire from the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect, and animated, inspired my life, that transformed a frightened young man into the bold one, that drove a law-abiding attorney, a lawyer, to become a criminal, that turned a family-loving husband into a man without a home. That means that forced a life-loving man to live like a monk, like a saint, without any family. I'm no more virtuous, not more sacred person of sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. I want my country to be free with me, freedom from invisible. The chains of any one of my people were the chains, were the restrictions on all of them. The chains on all my people were the chains on me. If they are bound, I am bound too. I knew that the oppressors must be liberated. They must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Who is oppressing as the who are oppressed? Both need to be free. A man who takes away another man's freedom, because who is going to oppress you is also in the prison of the hatred. That means he is having some sort of hatred, ill will in his heart. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away the someone else's freedom. Just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me, the oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their immunity, of their humanity. So everybody, if we need to be free, oppressor and oppressed, ruling and ruled one, both should feel free from the oppression.